Dr. Gregory Horton here, three-time Olympic medalist and world champion in track and field. Thank you all for subscribing to my channel. Please remember that if you like the content, do not hesitate to share. Now, today we're going to talk about track clubs in Jamaica. Because when we talk about track clubs, quality track clubs in Jamaica, we usually make reference to MVP, the Racers Track Club, Sprint Tech, the Cameron Blazers. But we have a new track club in Jamaica that is doing great things. I had the pleasure to talk to head coach Michael Frater, who is an Olympic champion, a world champion, and he is also a member of the world record 4x1 team with Usain Bolt. Michael is the current head coach of Titans Track Club, and he also worked closely with Gregory Little. When I spoke with Michael recently, he made a gesture which I thought was so humble. He said that the Titans Club is a spin-off of Racers and MVP. You know, today it really takes humility to give credit when credit is due. So we're going to talk with Michael today, and you're going to hear some of the things that he and Gregory Little are doing, not just for these young men, but also for their country, Jamaica. And I believe that together both are slowly contributing to bringing back track and field in Jamaica in terms of giving some of these young athletes the right opportunity where they can develop and flourish in an environment that is good for them. I am going to let you hear it in Michael's own word, the things that he and Gregory Little are doing to build back male sprinting in Jamaica. Listen for yourself. Who you have in the club?
Well, alright, we just try to develop back sprinting in Jamaica in terms of the men, especially the men's section, are falling off big time. Women them are perform well, they are outperforming the men by far and kind of look away. So I wasn't planning to get into it right away, but when I realized that the men was on the downfall, I just thought I would do my part and just try to bring back the male sprinting in Jamaica. Well, currently we have, as you know, we have Johan Blake, we have Minzy, Javan Minzy, who have had a resurgence in his career, as well as Jaziel Murphy, who most people have forgotten about, and we kind of bring him back. After 12 years, he finally got a PR in both 100 and 200. He ran 10-1 last year, I think, on 3 separate occasions, and 20.4. He has been down for about, as I say, about 12 years. So he's on the up right now, and very weak and all of that. So we're kind of working with him, and he's developing now the right way that I think he should have after he left school. Because remember when he left school, he was running like 10-2, and then was just stuck here for the last 12 years, and then kind of just fall off the map, running 10-6 and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So we kind of bring him back. Kemar Dale Cole been injured for the past 5 years, so he's been down. So he's another one that he was with us last year, but he was just basically developing back the muscles because he was injured for the last 2 years. So he's just basically rebuilding right now, and he's fairly healthy right now. So we know once he's healthy and fit, he should be not only one of the best in Jamaica, but one of the best in the world. Last time he was able to compete at a high level, he was amongst the top 3 in the world. Well, he got fourth at the World Championship. So so he's a talent here. Once he's healthy, and he's been healthy so far the last 2 months. We've been training and everything. So we're looking for great things from him once he's able to stay healthy. We have some other young guys now. Those are the senior guys in the team. We have some young guys. We have Akeem Blake, who was arguably one of the best juniors for Jamaica last year before he got injured at the trials. He got a cramp at the trials. But we didn't force him, so he's a young guy, so we didn't force him to come back and try to compete or anything for the rest of the season. So we shut him down. And he was a national junior under-18 champion back in 2008. So we have high hopes for him. I think once he stays healthy and is fit, he'll make an immediate impact on the senior level this year. Looks very well in training so far, and I mean once he's healthy, he should make an immediate impact. Won't put a time on him, but I think he's one definite for the future. Who I think once he's healthy, he'll be the best in Jamaica pretty soon. And then we have some other young quarter milers, developing athletes, which I mean not much are known about them because they weren't good in high school or anything like that. But we are working with them, and they look very good. We think that they should make an impact in the 400 and the 400 hurdles this year. So it's just basically a small group, not a large group. We have in total of about 10 athletes. The 4 senior athletes that I told you about and some young developing ones. So not a large group.
Who do you have on the staff coaching?
Myself and Gregory.
Okay.
Myself and Gregory Little. Just the two of us.
Okay. So is this a break off of racers, or this is something that you guys just come together and just started from scratch?
Well, if you have a break off of racers, you have a break off of MVP as well.
It's a good idea.
We both were at MVP and then we both were at racers. So I think that is a key component in us in terms of we got the best of both worlds. We were both coached by two of the greatest coaches the world has ever seen for track and field. So I think what we have been doing is putting the knowledge that we have gained from both coaches together and trying to put it together into one system. So the knowledge that we got from them and the experience that we have got competing at the highest level, you can't really teach that. It's just that we have observed all this knowledge and we're just putting it together. And we are not an MVP, we are not a racers, we are just a new club who are developing and trying to make our own footstep in the sport here.
You know, I am a big fan of sharing the information, Michael. Do you find that the information was shared with you and you freely sharing it with the athlete? Because sometimes we find that the athletes are not able to fully understand, and sometimes as coaches we take the shortcuts by just telling them what to do. Is it that in your case you're making a difference too by...
No man, you have to explain to them. You don't just show it on them, you have to explain to them what means what and how you develop certain muscles and what is going to... You have to talk to them and let them understand exactly what you're doing. And even now, I am not afraid to go and ask Coach Francis or Coach Mills about certain things, certain aspects or anything like that about track and field, because you're never too old to learn, So, yes, it's just about imparting the knowledge on the athletes and letting them understand why they do certain things, how is it going to benefit them and all of that. So, not a problem with sharing the knowledge. The knowledge was shared with me, so I don't have a problem sharing it with others as well.
In terms of adding on to your knowledge, what are you bringing to these young developing athletes or even older athletes who are now being better developed? What are you bringing to them?
Especially the experience that I've had competing at a high level. That's one of the things that I think is left out here. Most of the coaches, not coaches, most of the athletes that have competed at a high level, they are not bringing back the experiences, because once you go out there and you make certain mistakes, you don't want another athlete to make the same mistakes. So it's just about like a big brother teaching his younger brother, the do's and the don'ts about competing and how to compete, because one of the biggest issues was how to compete. You can be the fittest in the world, but if you don't know how to compete, or you go out there and you have anxiety and all of that stuff, you won't be able to compete against the best in the world. It's just about bringing that personal experience and knowledge that I've gotten while competing at the highest level. Just imparting that on the youngsters. And then the knowledge that I've gotten from Coach Francis and Coach Mills. And then, I have certain personal things that I've learned and seen, like the mistakes that both coaches have made. Nobody is perfect. And, coaches learn from their mistakes. I see certain things and certain mistakes that were made. And, just knowing how to correct them. Knowing how to correct all these mistakes. And just put it in one. Every athlete is different. And that's what most coaches need to understand. Not every athlete can have the same program and stuff like that. Most people don't have the time to really develop certain programs to specific athletes. And I think with us being not a large group, we can develop individual programs per se, programs to fit a particular athlete. You know, it's just like cars. You can't tune all the cars the same way or anything like that. Everybody is different. Not every athlete is built the same way or anything like that. Not everybody is built. Every human is uniquely built. So we can develop specific programs for different athletes. And I think that's the key that we have used to especially bring Murphy and Mincy back to the fore. My training with the coming good in Jamaica, and we wanted better for ourselves. We wanted to make an impact on the world stage. And I don't know if they have the desire or the hunger out there right now. And then one of the things is that I've seen athletes out here who I think could have run 9.7. And when they go out there to compete, they're running 10 zeros and stuff like that just because they didn't know how to compete. And one of the biggest problems I see out here with, especially the male side, is that they're afraid to seek help in terms of like a sports psychologist or something like that. And I think that is a huge impact on the sport, especially the Jamaican sprinters. I realized I had to show a clip to a few of my guys. Noah Lyles. Last year he competed at the World Championships where he underperformed to his standards, where he got third. And he said, and I was happy that he went on national TV on NBC and spoke about going to his psychologist, you know, having about 5 sessions before he came back to compete, and realizing that he was in shape. It was just a mind thing. He was just not going out there and competing, you know, how he was supposed to compete. So most of the time they are physically fit in the greatest shape of their lives, but they are not able to put it on the track. And I think once they hear that they need help or a psychologist, they think of it as a taboo or something is wrong with them. But most of the greatest sportsmen in the world all have a psychologist. Michael Jordan never traveled without his psychologist. I remember Sonia Richards before she became a world champion or an Olympic champion. She was running the fastest times on the circuit and couldn't win the big one. And once she got that psychologist, she never left her psychologist. She started winning the big one. So I think that is a problem as well, where most of the Jamaican men, they have this ego thing where they are afraid to seek help. And most of the time the problem is just psychological. Definitely. They are fit and ready but just can't compete. And I think sports has evolved so much right now where that is needed both for on the personal level as well as in the national teams as well.
What's the name of your club and why was it named that name?
Titans International. And with that now it's just the acronyms meaning training intelligently towards athlete speed, and that's just me thinking outside of the box where it's not how hard you train. I got a motto while I was in college from my college coach, because some of the times people think it's how hard you work, but it's not how hard you work for the most part. It's how smart you train, because you can very, very much overwork yourself and all these things. So, or else it's just training intelligently. Not trying to overwork the athletes. Just doing what is right for the specific athlete. So, I mean, that's where it came from. Titans International, training intelligently towards athletes' natural speed.
I thank you for the information, Michael. Now you heard it. A young club with a lot of talent, 2 past professional athletes who achieved great success during their athletic career, and now they are passing on the information to the younger and even to the older developing athletes. I personally think Michael Frater and Gregory Little will do great things, not just for their club, but also for the young developing young minds who too are trying to achieve their highest potential in their sport. I thank them a lot for taking the time to talk with me, and they do need your support. As a young club, they cannot be successful in the sport without your support and your love. I thank you all for listening. I am Dr. Gregory Horton. Have a blessed day.